Hello, everyone. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope everyone's having a blessed day, blessed weekend. Well, actually, it's Friday. Time goes so quickly for me. Sometimes I lose track of the days. Anyway, I hope everybody's fine. I'm just bringing a word of encouragement for everyone. As I was reflecting and I was thinking about the women's role, more of a women, that there's so many responsibilities that we have to take in life. And, whether we're a mother or and we're a wife, there's so many responsibilities. And sometimes I know that it can get hectic at times. Sometimes there are moments that we get overwhelmed. So if you're out there and you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling anxious, you're feeling stressed, sometimes I know that there's only, I always say there's only one of us. And I know me personally, sometimes I wish that I could uh, clone myself or divide myself into five and put, one brain that does the cooking, one brain that does the cleaning, one brain that goes to work, one brain that does with kids. And, there's so many responsibilities. And especially with me, you know i I'm a perfectionist, and I like everything. It can't be perfect, but I like everything to be as perfect or as close as perfect as it can be. And sometimes that can drive people crazy, you know um or perhaps sometimes even me personally, I think I expect too much of myself, or I am my worst critic. And if you're out there and you're going through the same thing, I think sometimes we have to, you know, don't be too hard on ourselves. Another thing also, as I was reflecting and thinking about parenting, and I will be bringing in soon a topic that I want to discuss, and I think it's so important. A lot of times for couples, there is a beautiful topic that we like to teach about and learn about to help our relationship with our spouse, which is getting to know the five languages of love. And I think that is very important. That just like there is five languages of love for a couple, to get to know how your partner um, receives that love, that appreciation, we also have to go ahead and know the five languages of love for our children. I think that is so important. And as a mother, I think what out of everything that I do, okay, um, that I'm not a perfect wife. There's so many things that I know that I can improve in, that I can add to. But also when it comes to not even my work, not even about my hobbies or things like that, but I think that for me, the things that are so important to me and that I really, really want to make sure, and I pray to God to guide me, to give them the wisdom and the knowledge that I need, is to do the best that I can as a mother, and to do the best that I can as a wife. And I know that there's so many things that I still have to learn. I am not perfect. There's so many things that I have to change as well, because I think that part of life, that's what it's all about. It is about us being willing to change. It is about us acknowledging the areas that we're lack in, and changing those areas to better ourselves, and also to better our relationship with our spouse and with our children. And one of the things that I always say is, like, when you first have your first child, I'm a mother of four beautiful children, okay? Um, but when you first have your first baby, you always say, wow, if only babies came with instructions. Because for me, being a mother is so important. Um, Being able to be there for my children and being able to understand them, being able to understand why they're feeling certain things. And I think that for many parents, if you're a parent and your teenager, your children ended up getting into some sort of trouble or conflict, or for some reason took the different direction, I think that one of the questions that as parents we may ask ourselves is, where did I go wrong? I thought I was doing everything right. I thought that everything that I had to teach my children, I did. Where did I go wrong? And then I think that we start feeling a sense of failure and wondering. But life happens, and we have to remember that our children go through a lot of struggles, a lot of hard choices, and we do the best that we can. Especially with us, we guide our children in the Lord's path. We try to do the best that we can to show them through scriptures what is right and wrong. But most importantly, I think it is so important that we teach our kids and we let them know that they are special. We let them know that they were born with a purpose. And we let them know that even through their failures, we all make mistakes, but they can get up again and learn from their mistakes and learn from their failures, and they become better individuals. Because we cannot remember when we were young ones, when we were teens, the struggles that we went through. And I always tell my kids, I want you to be able to have that, to feel that confidence, to be able to come and speak to me about anything, about any topic, and I want to be there to listen to you. And I think that's so important as a parent. We are able to discipline them, to tell them what between right and wrong, to teach them. But I think that one area that a lot of parents are lacking in is that we do not listen to our children. And when I say listen, I'm not only talking about listening with our physical ears, also by being able to know your children, because our children not always communicate their fears or their struggles. They don't know how to communicate that. And you might ask them, how was your day? And they will tell you everything is fine. Or sometimes they go through moments that they just don't want to be bothered, and they will tell you everything is fine because they just don't want you to ask any more questions. But we as parents have to be able to have that sixth sense, that sense that we're able to know when something is wrong. And even if they don't want to talk about it, to let them know, I am here to listen. Because if we are not there to listen to our children and they need to speak to someone, they are going to go many times to the wrong person. And how do we know what type of advice that person is going to give them? If it's going to be one that will edify and help them, or is it going to be one that's going to destroy them? And that, as parents, we have to know exactly. We have to learn to know our children. So as parents, I know it's really difficult sometimes. It's not easy. Out of my 4 children, all different ages, all different stages, they've had their struggles as well. And sometimes I wish I could be there and I tell them, I'm here. Sometimes I think about things that I could have done differently, or maybe things that I should have done, or things that I shouldn't have done. Or sometimes we say things that perhaps we didn't mean to say. So I think as parents, it's so important that we also, just like with everyone else, we have to think twice before we speak, before we say anything. Our children, we have to remember, they look up to us. And in the future, they will go ahead and they will want to imitate what we do. So it's so important how we act, what we say, because those words, the words that come from a parent's mouth, and they are spoken to our children would be with them forever. And sometimes I've heard, parents talk to their children in a way that it makes them feel inferior. It makes them feel less. It makes them feel dumb. And when you start creating that in a child's mind or a teenager's mind, as they go out into the world, to whether to look for employment, whether to further their education, believe it or not, those things kind of hold them back. And no matter how hard they try to get out of it, there's always going to be that to hold them back. So that's why I say we have to think twice before, but also as parents today, there's so many people struggling out there, so many families due to lack of communication. And just like teenagers or children are having problems communicating with their parents, there are parents struggling right now communicating with their children, with their teens. And the good thing about today is in our society, in our communities, there's so many help out there that you can seek, reach out help. If you are having problems with your teenager, communicating, and you're afraid that they're taking the wrong route, I encourage you to seek help. Seek help, whether it's in your church, seek help in other nonprofit organizations in our community. It's important that you realize you are not alone. It is time that even in the midst of everything that we're going through, and with all the technology now, if you look at everyone, if we're in a room with 10 people, 10 out of 10 of the people there, you will see them all with their cell phones. And even with my family, I see it. And I try to tell my kids, no cell phones for right now. Let's try to engage. Let's try to socialize. Like years before, there were no cell phones. Technology is great. It is a blessing. It benefits us in so many ways. But a lot of people have lost their actual, or they don't know how to socialize anymore, how to connect with others, because everything is through text, through emails, social media. And I think it's time to pause. Sometimes I say, you know what, I'm going to take a week off, or maybe not a week, but maybe if I can take a weekend and tell my family, okay, starting Friday after 3, no more cell phones. No cell phones on Saturday and no cell phones on Sunday. And, one day I think I'm going to do that and see how it goes, because we really need it. We really need to take time to reflect, to look at each other's faces and talk. Talk about life. Talk about how things are going. Talk what's going on, what's bothering you, what are your fears. And as parents, if we see that our children are going through some sort of anxiety or emotional problem, let's talk about it. What is going on? But remember, very important, what is talking about? Talking about is not only speaking, but listening. We have to learn to listen to one another. Learn to listen so we can help one another. So these are my words of encouragement for today. I hope that it's been a blessing. If you out there are going through something very difficult right now, and you're perhaps at home and you're having problems at home with your children, and you don't know what to do, it is so hard. I encourage you, sometimes we do blame ourselves and we say, where did I go wrong? But sometimes life happens, we go through things. I pray for your life and for the life of your children, no matter what age they are, that God continues to give you the wisdom, that God allows your children to feel his strength, that anything, any conflict or problems that they are going through right now, whether it's depression, anxiety, any type of emotional problem, that I declare them free from all of that in Jesus' name. I pray strength over your life as well. Do not give up. God is a God of new beginnings. And if we did something wrong the day of yesterday, today, with God, with the Lord, He gives us hope, and He teaches us that He is the God of new beginnings, and we can do it all over again. We can make different decisions that are going to be a blessing to our lives. You are not alone. God bless you. Until next time. And looking forward to starting my next topic, which will be the 5 languages of love for teens. God bless. Bye-bye.